World of Warcraft is seriously interfering with my drinking.
Disciplined sex and drinking binges, the mountain of cocaine, tons of cocaine, marijuana abuse, hooked on drugs. Time for us to bug out.
Okay, good news and bad news. The good news is, I finally figured out how to get my computer to accept audio input from my webcam. Bad news is, it's a $10 webcam, so its audio capture sucks just as much as its video capture. So for now, we're just going to have to put up with the headset, and the breathing into the mic, and the constant sounds of whatever's happening in my mouth at the time. Also, the 18th district. All the districts just got redrawn. The new 18th district includes Los Gatos and Saratoga and Campbell and that general area, and this other group of cities that is not contiguous to the first group, and the second group of cities is like Palo Alto and Stanford and Mountain View. I currently live in what used to be the 16th district and is now the 19th district, but I was born and raised in the 18th, and that's like where my family is. That's still where I get most of my mail. The friends that I have that are not down in Santa Cruz and too busy smoking pot to get involved in politics all live in the 18th, so that's where all my ties are, and that's why I'm representing the 18th. Also, the name. I chose Gregorius Maximus Augustus because it just sounds way cooler than the name that my mom gave me. I'm a big fan of the Civilization series of computer games, and whenever I play Civilization 4, I almost always play as the Romans. Also, I made the stupid, dumbass mistake of choosing to live at a place that charges rent every month. And being one of the 14 million Americans who are unemployed at the moment, I have to find a way to pay that rent. So while I will not be accepting any money from corporations or special interest groups while in office, I would be more than happy to accept corporate sponsorship for my YouTube channel. And if you pay me lots and lots of money, I will pimp out whatever product or service you have to offer, assuming that I would, approve of it in real life. For example, I will never ever approve of any Blizzard game made after Blizzard was acquired by Vivendi. That's why I only have the starter edition of World of Warcraft. On the other hand, some companies just keep getting better. Okay, the platform. Point number 1, restore personal freedom. The USA was founded on the principles of 18th century Enlightenment classical liberalism. The idea that you have, that no one can take your life, your liberty, or your property without your consent. The US government was, in theory, established to protect these rights. Unfortunately, Congress seems to have forgotten all about that. They have not been on the ball on that for ever since 1913. Now they're all obsessed with gay marriage or banning whatever guns the Democrats think look scary, or regulating the wattage of your incandescent light bulbs, or what bunch of bullshit, Don't these people have better things to do? Balancing the budget. Oh yeah, point 2, balance the budget. That is a much, much bigger concern than any specific ideology regarding how much we're taxing or how much we're spending. The economy will not grind to a halt as a result of increasing tax rates by a few percentage points. The economy will not grind to a halt because we didn't spend enough money on healthcare. The economy will grind to a halt when other countries stop lending us money because it becomes clearly apparent that we cannot pay off the fine. So, I was really disappointed when, at a Republican presidential candidate debate, the host asked, "Would you walk away from a deal in which the budget would be balanced by a 10-to-1 ratio of spending cuts to tax increases, and every single candidate put their hand up. That's fucking insanity. That's why we have this deadlock in Washington. That's why nothing will ever get done. That's why the Democrats are accusing the Republicans of refusing to compromise. And on the other hand, the Democrats are even worse. They think that no amount of taxing and spending will ever be enough. They think that no amount of debt is ever unacceptable. And of course, you no longer hear any talk about closing tax loopholes instead of raising nominal tax rates. Like, do you really think that raising nominal tax rates will do anything when entities that exist in the top tax bracket, like GE, can get away with paying nothing on their taxes because they know how to exploit every single loophole in the tax code? A lot of people talk about how big the tax code is, saying, you know, it's so many thousands of pages long, or that it's like 2 million pages long, even though they have no idea how long it is. Well, I've done the research. It's between 16 and 17,000 pages long. And almost every single one of those pages was written by, guess who? Wasn't you or me. It wasn't anyone looking out for our interests. Most of the tax code was written by big businesses and rich people for them to exploit. So, you know, I heard that there was this talk in the early 90s from the Republicans about scrapping the entire tax code, like just erasing all of Title 26 and writing a new tax code from scratch, free of any loopholes. Whatever happened to that plan? That was a really good plan. Which brings us to point 4, the relationship between big business and big government. There's this Venn diagram floating around on the internet showing what the Tea Partiers are upset about and what the Occupy movement is upset about, and I included it in my first video. And for those of you who can't read, or who never saw the first video, or if the first video ever gets taken down by YouTube for copyright reasons or whatever bullshit, you know, in the middle of this Venn diagram, it was written something like, big corporations lobby for the government to have more power, and then the government uses this power to pass legislation favorable to big businesses. And that's the crux of the problem. That's the eye of the storm. That's where all this other bullshit is coming from. Like, we have these private prison companies lobbying Congress to pass mandatory minimum sentencing laws for nonviolent drug offenders so that these prisons can get more money from keeping these drug offenders for longer periods of time. And point number 3 really deserves its own whole separate episode alone about constitutional federalism and states' rights and the 10th Amendment and why Congress should leave anything to the states that it possibly can leave to them. Even if not everybody wins under that system, at least everybody gets what they want. Alright, well, my level 12 undead protection warrior needs my attention in World of Warcraft, even though WoW sucks. So, see you guys next episode.